And as I was a little bit bored, and so I am so on YouTube. I'm excited to be here with everyone. And yeah, and let me know if you guys think I'm going live too much, if I'm bothering you in your algorithm, if I'm bothering you in the shorts feed, let me know. Um, but let's see. I'm on my laptop. It's not really a laptop. It's my favorite, my trusty handy dandy Chromebook. I got this thing open box for like actually $70 at Best Buy. And the cool thing about this one, yeah, thanks to either Obama or Trump, I got this Chromebook for $70 and it has one of those like an AI computer chip in it. And so it's pretty efficient when I use like web browsers and stuff like that, or ask the computer to do something. But I'm gonna just open up the stream and set up a poll here real quick. Sorry. And yeah, and I realize there's two things we can talk about today, which we didn't talk about yesterday. One is Trump's 1 year of presidency, and the other was we didn't celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We didn't celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day yesterday, and so do you guys think? Shut up, computer. Do you guys think we're actually gonna talk about Martin Luther King Jr. Day? Probably not. I wish we could. I love civil rights. I like civil rights, and I love the people that were involved. I love the history. I like the context and circumstance of the United States around that stuff. I don't think people would stay around for us to talk about civil rights, where you actually tell me what you know about like American history, and I learn from you, and you learn from me and what I know. But we can talk about Trump getting, kind of getting around on the PR block. You know, he does the little bob and weave stuff a little bit, bam, bam. You know, yeah, Trump's got a little bit of that fighting spirit in him. I don't support the president's policies, but if you do, hit me up. Hit me up. That's what people have been wanting to talk about. The two main topics so far here have been whether or not I'm a cuck soy boy, and the second topic has been if I support Donald Trump. Also, it is about that time. So, what's up to both folks watching me from the United States? About 60% of the audience, people that are going to hop into chat, hopefully in a little bit here. People that might hop into chat tonight, about 60% of you guys are from the US, 60 to 70%. The rest of you guys are from Canada, you're overseas to me, Europe, India. And so shout out to you guys. Hello to you guys. Just good to see you and stuff like that. But let me go ahead and launch this poll. And yeah, we'll get to talking about some of the stuff. Trump's characterization of immigrants. I believe it's playing into racist beliefs. I don't believe it's a defensible position. And it's just worth discussing outside that too. And so Trump did a really good job at this press conference, I think, kind of outlining the evidence he believes he has for his policies. But at the end of it, after Trump makes his case to the American people, he's done. It's not like, oh, you're cooked, bro. But once Donald Trump pleads to the American people to keep ICE funded, operational, he asks people, he's like, hey, what's the big deal? Why are you guys not letting ICE go arrest people and throw them in these private for-profit detention centers? If American people don't want to listen to Donald Trump, we don't have to. Hey, what's up, FAA 86? The government did its job 100%. People would soon forget about the government's profits. That's why the government doesn't care about quality. It only cares about filling its own pockets. Taxation is theft, already showing up in chat, guys. I like it. Taxation is theft. And so this doesn't have anything specifically to do with MAGA. Maybe you could connect it to Doge, in my view. Doge and Trump saying we have to get to government efficiency. But I'm not sure how that would be the case. Here, I got to set up this poll real quick. Hey, what's up? Gage Parker, Christopher Meany, good to see you. Oh, from the UK. Cheers. Good day, mate. That's Australian. That's not. But yeah, hello. Hello to you in the UK. Our friends in Britain are our closest allies in the US, so it's always nice to see you guys. We have even though we don't know each other personally, our relationship does go back about 300 years, 300, 400 years or so. Same people, same sort of, kind of way about the world. People in the UK and Britain both like going out, and we'll stop on our way to the grocery store, and like buy the same stuff and vote the same way, basically. So all the important stuff in a democracy, you guys. Yeah, and if I say something stupid, just pick it up. I don't say smart stuff all the time. Getting. Hey, see, this is a sentiment shift. The stock wizard saying getting rid of both parties would be a good start. Maybe. A good start to a lot of people would be, for me, it would be identifying the national interest and having, like, I'd be happy, truthfully, and you can disagree with me, but I'd be happy if 60% of our country was talking about the right issues. I don't think Trump saying immigrants are thieves, liars, are slurs. If he wasn't saying that immigrants in the United States and Greenlanders, Danish people, the British, the French, Iranians, if he wasn't saying these people are all convicted murderers, they're all killers, they're all this nasty stuff, I might agree with the guy. Here, you guys are gonna have to vote in this poll. It's gonna go up in a second. Let me see. Hey, what's up, Nathan, and all this other stuff? Who's this Trump fella? Hey, Donnie from New Brunswick. I'll tell you what, Donnie from New Brunswick, he will tell you everything you need to know about Donald Trump, whether you like it or not. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? My buddy Donnie from New Brunswick, very simple here. He'll tell you everything you need to know about this Trump fellow. Okay? You just gotta tell me exactly what we're talking about, what you know, when you knew it, how you found out about it. How about that as a good start? Donnie will give you his political beliefs in just a second here. Donnie will help you out. Okay, so you guys see this poll popping up on your screen? Blammo, blammo, blammo. Go ahead and give that a vote if you guys see the poll coming up. As you're coming in, do you take a chance to like and subscribe if you want? You don't have to. Thank you, guys. I got 7 votes already. Thank you, guys, for making your voices known on this very important question. Does Trump waffle? What's a magus? Magus is the plural of MAGA. It's when you have multiple Americas that are being made great again at the same time. Multiple Americas are being made great again at the same time, and you kind of wonder when you're waffling what it's going to become. Mark Carney. No way, dude. You're a Canadian. You're a Canuck. You're a Maple Leaf, and you don't like Mark Carney. The guy seems so reasonable, eh? I don't know who could like really dislike Mark Carney, right? That reminds me of American style Biden hate. Biden was such a reasonable sort of let you go about your day kind of guy. Biden wouldn't I have an Obama story for later too. But yeah, President Biden, Joe Biden, he was a little disruptive when he was in Senate, as the VP who's supposed to in some ways whip the Congress from the executive branch, make sure they're not getting stuck, kind of be that voice for the executive priorities domestically for like NatSec and budget implementations, all that kind of stuff. As VP, a lot of people thought both Kamala Harris as well as Joe Biden were pretty effective, just from an objective standpoint. You might not like them as a person. I'm not telling you to like them as a person. But a lot of people thought that, they basically didn't say that much to Congress. And then when they came in, we seemed to see policy getting done. And so, it's just something to consider. Hey, what's up, Fun Day kids? Not all Republicans are racist, but you can bet your butt all racist bigots are Republicans. Ooh, that's kind of a sharp blow. That's kind of a sharp blow because I would have voted Republican. Whoa, I would have voted. There we are. I don't know. Did this zoom in? Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. My bad. That's crazy. That's funny. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could zoom in. Or I could zoom out. I could just sit back too. I would have voted for some Republicans, you know, if nothing else, just for like expediency. But if there are people that weren't trying to cut like welfare benefits voraciously, if I believe the Republican Party could work internally, some year, and I have believed that in the past, I would vote. I would consider voting Republican some years. I have some conservative leanings, and I don't believe most Republicans want to remove the social safety net. So to hear that racist bigots are all Republicans is disconcerting. Yeah, but guys like who's the Oklahoma City bombing guy, and the guy like the Ruby Ridge guy, those guys, they were like anarchists too. And so you have these people who are anti-government, maybe conspiracy theorists, and some of them maybe have a mental illness or something. Some of these guys, when you like actually sort of think about what they're and what they're trying to talk to you about. Should I just do a whole stream like that? No, but some of these guys, they're anti-government. They're, anti-government, and so they're not Republican. They're anarchists. They're conspiratorial. They're revolutionary. All this kind of stuff that sort of means something. Backyard fun country boy. Yeah. Do you live somewhere that has fences? There's a lot of places that don't have fences in our country. First time I saw that was like outside Chicago. I went back home. It's where my family's from, and I saw these places, and there were either these little like 2-foot fences or there were no fences. That was weird. I'm out west. I'm in like Phoenix, and so in Phoenix, everyone has like a giant fence. It's like your house is this little like if you looked at it from above, you'd be like, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people that they have to like block everything off? But that's how it goes. Make Amaru Khan great again. Amaru the serpent. I don't know who that is. Amaru Khan, is that like Chahulu or something? Or like a Scientology, like some L. Ron Hubbard character. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that sounds like a mythology or something. We need to wipe Islam out of our history books. Nah, man. I actually posted a short with Charlie Kirk calling all Muslims dumb earlier today. And so I really don't like that stuff. If you really want to trigger like a liberal, the way you do it is you say words that go out of your mouth, and those words don't come back into your mouth. You say things that you don't get back, and you basically either you really truly messed up, you had a brain fart, or you revealed to people this is your sense of humor and this is who you are. All the Charlie Kirk fans, all the Turning Point members here are going to be boo, boo. Oh, Duck is a violent lefty. Boo, boo, boo. No, that's not true at all, man. I want you to consider me for a second. Truly, truly consider this for a second. A guy like me sees Charlie Kirk saying all Muslims are stupid, and you guys, he says, he piles it all on. He says, you guys kill Jews, you guys throw Palestine, the entire city of Israel. He goes, you do this, you stone gay people, you stone women, you throw gay people off buildings. You shouldn't have been stupid, all you stupid Muslims. To me, that's just hateful, man. I'm allowed to think that. We got the conspiracy theory going in chat. Charlie Kirk was an actor. Maybe. I don't believe so. Charlie Kirk was on like public access television when he was like 20. Poor Charlie also. Truly, a lot of people should have gotten a chance to debate Charlie Kirk. They should have gotten a chance to engage Turning Point USA. They did not. So very sad Charlie died, but I don't think he was an actor. He was on public. There's tons of old footage of him like as this little derpy kid. He seemed very driven, but he seemed also very uninformed. which you expect at the age of 20. He didn't seem as hateful as he was, perhaps. He's kind of like Donald Trump. If you go back and watch Donald Trump's interviews in the 1990s, and you're wondering, you're like, how is Trump's presidency going? 1 year in, we're at the 1 year benchmark. Donald Trump's planning for 3 years out. And Donald Trump is, as president of the US, is looking at the resources, the assets. He's looking at his political momentum and capital. And you're like, well, what's this guy actually trying to do? I don't care how you're doing, Trump. I just want to know what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me as a private citizen? Are you going to take my rights away? Is that what you said? You're going to take my rights away, Donald Trump? What are you looking at? Why are you looking over there, Mr. President? Look at me. Look at me here. We're going to have a conversation about what we're going to talk about. I don't want Pete Hegseth. I don't want Marco Rubio. I want you, Mr. President. Let's have a chat. No, that's how I get down. That's how I get down in my politics, though, is I don't give two shekel snickle fritzes about this guy. I love you, brother. I love you. I do. But I also need to know what you're going to do to me. You guys, Trump waffles all the time. I don't spend my time with wafflers. If you guys are waffling in chat, I'll ban you. You guys can get out. No, I'm just kidding. They rehearse the ritual. I think this is a thin conspiracy theory. I don't know if you actually believe it. But okay, so anyways, but the reason people go back to like NBC Nightly News or Dan Rather or David Letterman, appearances by Donald Trump, this guy gets invited to speak by a Rotary Club or something, old person stuff, but don't worry about it. I just had snot come out my nose, but the reason people do this are they saying, well, is this the same Donald Trump that's president today? Is this the same Donald Trump that invites, whatever his name, Salman bin Ramlan, the Saudi Arabian king principality guy? Is this the same Donald Trump? And it is. Donald Trump told you back in the day, what he wanted you to know was, look, focus on opportunities and wealth, and the U.S. should be defensible, not dispensable, and roll through strength. Donald Trump told the American people during his waffling, he said we should focus this workers. And I don't know what they want or how it goes, but I believe this is what's going to be good for us. For some reason, I'll make it true. I'll make it so. That ain't my president. ICE 2026. Talking about, dude? You don't elect ICE. And yeah, Democrats absolutely are going to run on platforms that opposes ICE, anti-ICE politicians who you're going to see more political action committees. You guys are going to see on social media, your YouTube's going to fill up with videos of these violent ICE arrests and people getting detained but not getting arrested who got beat up. You're going to get more information about people who had died in ICE custody over the last 18 months. This is all coming in 2026. ICE waffles. ICE is cool. Hey, what's up, Shadowband? Good to see you. Good to see you, homie. It says DEI costed many people education, even Asians. Ivanka Trump just wanted STEM training. I would have supported. See, this is why I would vote Republican sometimes. Is because if there is a sort of a half understood, half solution for DEI, if you're using DEI as a buzzword, and the person you just happen to be running against that year is talking about merit-based opportunities and merit-based training, and they actually have a good handle on that. Like if Ivanka Trump were to run for some office in Arizona, I maybe would have considered voting for her. Because well done policy, government done well. That's my belief. Is that's better than poorly done politics. Right? But you guys don't get that on social media. It's left versus right. And it makes me so sad. You guys can tell I'm really emotional about this. Yeah. By the way, like this stream and all that stuff if you guys want or don't. It just makes me sad when I see all these talented people, all these lazy, tired fingers, and you guys haven't liked this stream yet. Stuff like that. But Yeah, but Ivanka Trump, DEI didn't earn it, someone says. That's a little mean. I believe in DEI programs, but I think they need to be done well, and most companies do them well. I worked for the evil company next to BlackRock, Vanguard, back in the day. Back in my day, kids, I worked for Vanguard. I know what an index fund is. Yeah. You guys didn't work at Vanguard. I worked at Vanguard. Um, oh, wait, what? And so, but what was I saying? Yeah, I'd vote for a Republican, but not now. Why? Because Trump waffles. Why does Trump waffle? Because Trump has giant booklets. He's got binders. Trump, he goes, here's my binder of, before he goes to sleep at night, he looks at pictures of brown people who committed some crime. Any brown person, if there's a mugshot of them, in fact, Donald Trump will look at it. That's called racism. That's called racism, folks. I don't want to hear it. ICE in 2026, this guy says. No way, man. Many here couldn't tell you what DEI is or means. Hey, I believe that. Fun day, kids. I believe you. I think, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. Get him up here. Get him up here. Okay. All right. Trump is great, says the UK savior. Hey, we got more British folks in the house. 6, 7. The great alliance between handsome, stunning Anglo-Saxon Brits and melting pot Americans. Melting pot Americans. Is that the right way to say that? I think it's the right way to say it. No, but good to see you. Cheers, whatever time it is where you are. I'd love to go to Britain one day. Yeah, you guys have had a lot of important thinkers. Jeremy Bentham, I believe, was British. David Hume, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes. Am I transgender? It's not really your business if I'm transgender or not. But this is an LGBTQIA plus friendly channel. Yeah, so you can sort through that for me. Thank you. Mr. I'm Not Ram. If you have a topic you want to discuss or there's a specific trans issue that I'm prepared to discuss today, I'm happy to talk about it. You guys can argue. You've been to New York twice, cool. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit as it's just right across the Atlantic. A simple 6-hour flight from New York City to London gets you there, kid. Yeah, Thomas Hobbes. Life in the state of nature is nasty, brutish, and short. Life in the state of nature is nasty, brutish, and short. And so it must be that way. Same above as it is below. Hey, thank you, Mr. I'm Not Ram. Yeah, I'll support you too. You tell me what we're talking about there. You tell me what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've got Thomas Hobbes, folks. Life in the state of nature is nasty, brutish, and short. So here's how this one goes. This song goes that you judge your interest immediately, and those issues which are existential float to the top. And Democrats have always supported this notion of positive liberty. This idea that we at least have positive liberty endowed by the Constitution or enabled, it's part of our democracy through voting, through democracy. So you get democracy via democracy, and that democracy includes things that democracy can decide. And maybe it is divisive. Maybe it is divisive, but it's also decisive. You're just sounding like Rudyard Kipling in every way. I don't know who that is. It sounds like a Kenyan name. Brit here, it's 4:27 here. The British people say it's 4:27, lad. It's 4:27 then. In it 4:27. Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to be hackneyed toward my British viewers, but I've seen Peaky Blinders. That's about the extent of my knowingness. How did you get the beard to grow? I haven't been to grow one. I've had facial hair since I was like 19 years old, 18, 19. My God, guys, I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on. I gotta finagle this. You guys are gonna get so annoyed. I gotta finagle this. So this is just how we're doing the stream for the rest of the night then, because I can't knock that down. So I'm sorry about it. I hope that was okay. I hope it's okay. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, this is happening in real time, folks. Okay. That's silly. Jesus loves you. Thank you. God bless you. All the Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Jews, Sikhs, Baha'i folks, anyone following a faith tradition, Satanists, pagans, traditional, primitive, or indigenous religions. Shout out to all you guys in chat tonight. It's good to see you. Yeah, it was not hormone therapy to get the beard to grow. The biggest problem, actually, the only problem I've had with my own beard is how fast it grows and jobs, employers. I worked at a restaurant because in the US, we have there's quite a few restaurants in the US where they enforce like a dress code, which includes like grooming standards for your beard because you're doing food service. So they're allowed to do that. It's legal. You're allowed to say whatever you want to your employees. You can say whatever you want to the employees, and no government's going to tell you can't. And so, at this restaurant though, I was working at that time, 25 hours a week and going to college, and it was at that time when if I was scheduled only like 10 hours a week, it wasn't great. But if I was scheduled like 30 hours, I was very picky. I was like a diva. If I was scheduled 30 or 35 hours, I'd be like, oh man, oh brother, I got school. I don't want to work that much. It's just what I was into at that time. That's what I was like in college. But that employer, my manager used to walk out of the office with a razor when I would show up and make me go shave in the bathroom. So very unprofessional of me, but it was also just what it was like back then. Okay. Yeah, are you guys getting the old Obama videos in your newsfeed, in your algorithm? Obama got pressed by NBC and CBS News anchors. This was, how long ago was this now? 9 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago. If you guys don't remember this, back in my day, in old heads time, back in my day. Yeah, what I saw back then was you'd see the tabloid newspapers and they would be like, oh, Princess Diana's secret lover. And then the next story down, like the little headline was, watching brown parents getting separated from their kids and stuff because of U.S. immigration policies. It was horrible. So you had stories of abuse, of mistreatment, of poor management, and just really horrific humanitarian consequences of the law. You had some due process stuff, but not nearly. Like today, it's basically every case. If you actually had a lawyer and you didn't just get deported right away, basically every ICE case could be subject to a due process claim. What they're doing, I think, is illegal. I think the procedure is probably pretty close to illegal. Pisco talks about that stuff a bunch, but Obama basically wouldn't stop these deportations back in the day, you guys. Hey, Alan, good to see you. Alan Heron. Kale Goring, I'm gonna eat your butt. First things first, I'll eat your brain. Then I'ma bust out gold teeth and fangs. Yeah, Nicki Minaj is beefing with Don Lemon over Don Trump. What world are we living in? Yeah, so about the same time, so this is how far back this goes. About the same time that I was listening to Obama fail to address concerns that people were going to kick out immigrants, and he was also getting criticism. He was getting criticism from both the left and the right. He was just doing the unpopular thing by doing nothing at that time. But this was also when Nicki Minaj was collabing with Kanye. This was about them that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out. So first things first, I'll eat your brain. Then I'm gonna bust out gold teeth and fangs. You guys can like the video, by the way. You didn't know I was a rapper. When I'm not a rapper, I'm about the worst live streamer on YouTube. I'll put y'all's time in the crapper. I'll take a look at chat and I'll say, nah, I'm gonna take a nap, bar. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The first rule of chat, if you want to have a conversation, is don't criticize the rest of chat. I'm not allowed to. You guys aren't allowed to either. I'm not Ram. Okay, I have 5 seconds to respond. I told you I'm really bad at this. Channel activity. Do not recommend channel. Okay, don't like it. So am I pro or against Trump? I'm anti-Trump. Whoa, this person spam chat. Bye, Ram, you goober. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Howdy. Pon los estilos en español, por favor. Lo siento, para sabes, sabamos, YouTube has automatic translation, auto translation, para not live streams, but for videos, translations. And so for me, subtitles sometimes, not that often. So lo siento, I'm sorry. You're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I know this thing's grown so fast. This thing's gone crazy, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's weird. I'm used to, so I have worked in tech a little bit in my career. And so in tech, you look at I'll just tell you guys this because why hide something? But in like the tech field, you look at customers and you'll calculate like how much they're worth. You'll look at me and you'll say, well, is there value spending time here? If not, I'll just leave. If there is, I'll subscribe and like the video. In the business setting, you look at a customer and you say, well, how much are they worth today, the next time they buy, basically? What's a transaction worth? And then how many times are they going to buy? What are they worth over the lifetime? So you simplify everything down and then you can work within it fairly easily. And that's what a business is. Starbucks is like that, right? Starbucks looks at lifetime value and they say, well, if you buy Starbucks coffee, if you buy a blonde roast or you get whatever it is 3 times a week, this lifetime value thing tells me that, yeah, this month you're worth this much, and then you're going to stop buying here most likely on average. But in the meantime, I know you're going to spend $2,000, whatever it is. You're going to spend $1,500 at Starbucks or $700 before you stop buying from Starbucks coffee. And that allows people to manage stuff. But yeah, on YouTube, I'm super excited. I'm grateful. 73 of you guys have voted. I'm grateful 16 of you have liked this video. There's 15 of you here as far as I can see. There's at least one of you saying, Señor, mi amigo trabajo para BlackRock. And there's someone else speaking Spanish very well in chat. So, lo siento. I wish I knew more than Dora. I wish I knew more. I'm in Arizona. I should speak Spanish, but I don't. But if you guys want to go fetch me Ruben Gallego, I don't know if Ruben Gallego speaks Spanish. He might speak a little bit. I don't think it's racist to ask. Yeah, but yeah, as I approach 1,000 subscribers, just from like a time and monetary standpoint, this is basically worth nothing. So I'll tell you why I love this. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll tell you why I love this. It's because it's creative. It's a little bit fun. And so this is an old book I have that I'm going to try and keep reading. And we can do more than just, if you guys can understand what I'm saying right now, we can try and do more. It's together. It's together, right? That you and I will be able to do better shows together. This is one of the reasons why it's Will Eisner. He's a graphic storyteller and visual narrative person. So he goes through and he tells all kinds of stories, beautiful stories that are meant to be sort of easy to digest, entertaining, good to understand. And so I truly hope you guys get some value out of this stream, because I will make $0 at 1,000 subscribers, probably, $16 a month at 2,000 subscribers, probably not much more unless I stream a ton. I'll make, and that's going to scale up. And then when I have 10,000 subscribers, and I still remember Shadowband helping out the channel a bit, I still remember you guys get all this fun stuff out of it. When I have 10,000 subscribers, maybe I make $500 a month and can go full time. But in the meantime, I can have some fun. Hopefully you guys have fun. I can work on some storytelling methods. I can work on the way I present words, present news stories. I can work on the shorts I produce for you guys. And from my perspective, I can get a little more efficient at making better content you guys want to enjoy. Hopefully we have, you guys enjoy the show, and new subscribers are fun for you guys to talk to. We get more folks like NYC Durrani. As long as we have NYC Durrani in the house, guys, we don't need anything else. If Sandy Butler is here, we can't do any better than that. Rick is here, 007. Rick has a very good question here, guys. I'm going to answer Rick's question right now. Rick is asking, I'm a former Catholic, what my current beliefs are. We got construction in the house too. We got blue collar workers in the house as well right now. Okay. And so I'm a former Catholic. Currently, what is this, guys? Guys, stop it. Whoever's playing with the settings on my phone, stop the playing. We don't play around here. Don't play on my phone. Don't zoom it in. Okay? Don't play. Don't make jokes. Don't talk. Just, okay. I'm a former Catholic. I went to Catholic school. Catholic school is good. I learned from nuns, priests, bishops, deacons. I had a math teacher who was a polyglot from Harvard. I had a biology teacher named Mr. Rishad. If you guys are in the United States, you might know Mr. Rishad as a Mr. Richard. But he came from a Creole place in Mississippi. So Mr. Rishad taught me biology about meiosis, cell division, the powerhouse of the cell, about DNA assembly and disassembly. Everything you could imagine from Mr. Rishad. And so that's what I came from. In terms of spirituality and stuff like that. So here's what I believe, guys. I believe you can look as tired and as stressed out and as unhappy and discontent as you guys want. But I'm a secular atheist. I like dharmic religions, so I like Taoism, I like Buddhism. I'm probably most closely Buddhist. In terms of spirituality, my irrational beliefs and my beliefs that are nothing, my beliefs that themselves seem to dissolve away, but I still have them the next day. I would say Buddhism, but mostly secular atheists. I generally try to explain things in sort of kinetic material terms that I can understand. And so that's helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot that the stress that I have and sort of just how I naturally approach things has that spiritual outlet, even though truthfully, I'll admit, I don't believe in the Christian God. I think he doesn't exist. If God did exist, I believe I would believe in him, but I think because I don't believe in him, he doesn't exist. Something like that, guys. What else? Hey, Shadowband went to a Christian school. Yeah. No, I believe in that. I believe in private education. I believe in parental choice. I believe my parents allowed me to decide when I was a junior. And there were a couple reasons. My friends, I had friends at my Catholic school. I like my friends, but my friends from elementary school, my neighbors, like my neighborhood friends, they all went to the public school. And so it truly was hard to leave my private school friends, but I did leave them eventually. I didn't stay there. So that was important for me to acknowledge. The other thing was athletics, after school stuff, and like electives. I wanted to take a guitar class, so I did that at public school, and I wanted college credits. I had better AP classes at the public school, and so that was cool. I ended up going into a community college with like 1 or 2 semesters done. I had between 18 and 30 credit hours after high school, if I remember correctly. And maybe most importantly, I had my math credits done. And so for any of you guys that had college or wanted to go to college or are going to go to college or might go back to college, for me the part that was scary was the math classes. So I'd finished like a calculus class in high school, and there was going to be 0% chance I could go beyond that just because of how my brain works. I'm not that smart. You engineering people are smarter. Hey Rick. Oh, Rick's back in chat. Rick's still here listening to me blabber yabber. I used to play the guitar, used to play the ukulele. That's one of the reasons I want to get money off YouTube, is to buy like a little uke and practice singing and all that stuff again. Do all that stuff again a little bit. So at some point in time, I want to do that. But yeah, I'm an artist, musician. I like that stuff. I like singing. And yeah, and there's always a reason to grift from other people so you can do the things you like to do. I think that's how it goes around these parts. Really bad, right? Play the ukulele live. I wish I could. I wish I could one day. One day. We've got some. What is this? Is this nationalism? Cameron Flynn. Oh, Chairman Mao. Oh, that's Cam in chat. You guys should get into it. Cam can keep up. He can take it. All that stuff. He, she, they, whoever. What kind of music are you into? I used to like punk. I used to like rap. I like some folk classical stuff. Yo-Yo Ma's got a really cool band. And you guys might be like, well, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And that may be true, but the Goat Rodeo Sessions, it's one of those albums that if you listen to it for the first time and you like really listen to it, what you're gonna uncover is new musical sort of modes or themes that you hadn't heard before. And it's a simple reason. Goat Rodeo Session and Yo-Yo Ma is all virtuosos. It's a band of all virtuosos, all independent musicians who have played with the best orchestras and the best conductors in the world, who have all done they're all experts in the music industry. And so this CD they made called the Goat Rodeo Sessions is just the best. It's very good. It's been sheltered by an overbearing mother. Hey, my mother says that hey, wait, where are the obnoxious atheists in my chat? Are there any obnoxious atheists here? My friend Donnie, not this guy, not the guy that hosts the show, but my buddy Donnie from New Brunswick will say, hey, what do you know? What do you know? Hey, we got Aaron M., an obnoxious atheist in the chat. There you go. There's one. There's one. We got to get all you guys together and ask what you believe and what you know. You guys don't know how brutal this is going to get. This is going to be an inquisition for you. I am going to start inquiring of my obnoxious atheist friends. I'm going to inquire for you. Mr. Rogers, that let the man find himself. He needs to dump Trump. Not exactly the Mr. Rogers that women find green flags. Ugh. I heard Mr. Rogers used to be mean when he was in the army. He wasn't a very nice guy. I don't think you can have democracy with capitalism and our politicians working for the wealthy, like housing prices being up. Yeah. Well, to me, that would be populism. I think if you're complaining about home prices, and you guys are going to be like, boo, boo, boo. None of you, let's be honest, all of us here are probably broke. Right? That's why Trump doesn't waffle around these parts, you guys. But I think if I turn on the Fox Business Channel and billionaires are now talking about home prices, I don't trust it. I don't trust that at all. Because I know that they talk about home prices the same way they talk about collecting their rents. And it's fine. It's a part of capitalism I don't really like, but I also think it's very greedy and selfish to not just take that with a grain of salt and still come up with a political belief. All Are you gay or homosexual? Hey, Anthony, good to see you. I don't really reveal. Just let me clarify some things for chat right here. I don't really reveal my sexuality or sexual preferences or like my sexual history in chat. I don't do that. So if you guys want to come into chat, kind of like curious but also trolling and ask if I'm gay or homosexual, you're not going to get an answer out of it. You're not going to get an answer out of it. Okay. So let's nip this. Let's cut it out. I don't want to see any more bad behavior. Bad behavior regarding questions that you don't need to know the answer to. I'll show you what I do have. I have an indigenous Native American hat right here though. Very sweaty. Very sweaty. Let me ask you this, Anthony. Are you Apache? Are you from the Sioux Falls tribe? Are you Chickasaw? Are you part of the Chickasaw Nation? Those aren't my favorite. Those aren't my favorite. I forgot who is my favorite. I like my true religion. I believe in the concept of the great mystery. That's my God, is the great mystery, which is both nature, but not constrained to nature, but not in the way that you just want it to be, right? You don't have some omnipresent, all-powerful being. It's just nature is this way that it's mysterious. And it's also pretty much exactly what you thought it would be. You get to think about the divinity of stuff, and you'll experience it sometimes, but you don't need to experience all of it, and so be thankful. You're not going to take care of the indigenous wisdom the Americas has to grant to you. You're just not. You're truthfully always going to be under-equipped to handle what nature and what life can tell you. And so be grateful of the great mystery, and also be like, F this guy. I'm not going to subscribe. I'm not going to like the video. You can go back to reading comments, and I don't care. You can go back to reading comments, and I'm not even going to care about it. CEO comes before shareholders. What? Shadowband, are you finally coming out as not a Trump supporter? Shadowband's finally coming out as a former troll, a 2026, 2028 Kamala Harris Democrat voter. They're coming out as being accusatory toward executives of being selfish, not knowing the fiduciary role. CEOs always get their bonuses, though, no matter what. Yeah, they're fiduciaries, and so CEOs, I like by the letter, I think, are even supposed to sign their executive comp plans. When Elon Musk took like $1 trillion budget or something like this, $1 trillion payout, whatever it was, he's supposed to say, no, I don't need that. You guys aren't going to pay me $100 billion this year, because it's not in the best interest of the company. And so the board can approve it. But I also think when you're a CEO, like by law, you can get prosecuted if you don't take financial control and responsibility of the company. That stuff's all true. Capitalism funds all other isms. Hey, Jimmy from Philly. Yeah. That's also like how on YouTube raids fund other channels. Yeah, you can always justify. That's when lawmakers say there's not accountability for some of the most important companies. Part of it is because you can always make an argument like Cam's making. It's a very dumb argument because I also think it's black and white. I think it's black and white. I think it's either the case that you get like if you ask if Elon can sell 1 billion cars and if the company should do that, then you should just be able to ask that even if Elon Musk makes 15 cents a year. That's just how the company works. You don't need an incentive package to go do that. And so I just don't understand how you justify the sort of pay structure. Not that making stuff up was an issue for CEOs, so AI doing it should be fine. Yeah. Next phase of BS evolution. Let's see. So let's see. Does Trump waffle? That's where we're at. And whoops. Yeah, 64%. You got things are getting worse for Trump. Yesterday we were at Trump's approval rating. Now we're at 36%. 36% of you guys say Trump is a man about his business. Yeah, ideally. Yeah, if you're Elon Musk or you're a CEO, one of the things uh, what just ultimately comes up is this idea that like everything's so heavy. You can just be like, well, if you're managing a company as big as Tesla, everything takes so much time, everything's so expensive. And the reality of what's actually different or the same from being any other automotive or supply chain company. Like maybe Tesla's board believes they're very unique, but in that case, you shouldn't be. This is why Cam Flynn was kind of wrong. And I'll lay it on thick. I'll lay it on thick. Is because if you're a CE, if you're on the board of directors, you're an executive, and you think your company is so different from every other company, then your priority should be fixing that, right? That's why you pay someone $1 trillion is to fix the fact that your company's so different, you have to work with one CEO or you have to make one set of decisions. And so if Tesla just believes there's a huge opportunity, it's like, well, what world are you living in? That doesn't exist in reality. Even if you're Sam Altman and OpenAI, even if you're like Reid Hoffman or Peter Thiel, that just doesn't exist. Yeah, up to 1 trillion in stock. That's crazy. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Trump is ushered Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is going to be so successful. He basically gets his job locked in if he wants it for the next decade. That kind of makes sense. That's very libertarian, though. That's very politically libertarian and not very. It's not very egalitarian towards what people might say about Tesla. Hi again. I will never buy a car from a Nazi. Yeah, that's a fair statement. Elon Musk said a lot of crazy stuff with Trump and with Doge. Yeah. He basically went along with whatever Trump wanted to say for whatever reason they wanted to. Dirty money. Trump made multiple countries activate their military to defend Greenland with 3 words. Yeah. I mean, that's not an accurate depiction in reality. I can explain that if you want. I can do it through the magic of storytelling. And it's actually true that if you're a prime minister, if you're a general in NATO, you know who your allies are. And it's not that hard. Actually, NATO is probably the easy part. NATO is probably the easy part. I would just basically can learn how you communicate and what kind of ships, planes, and trains and people everyone has. And then the next year, you kind of refresh your brain on that stuff and you stay super competitive. I don't want to undermine it, but the other side of it is you're still an independent state, right? So your interests are not other NATO states' interests. And so dirty money, man, that's pretty dirty. That's like that brick schwag, not great kind of. Release the Epstein Trump files, says Mr. Baseball. Okay. Aaron M makes a good point. I'll let you guys respond to Aaron. I agree generally. Aaron already said he's going to be the obnoxious atheist in chat. And so, everybody, we're going to learn from Aaron. This appears more sage and more accurate than whatever the MAGA person said before him. Yeah, if you praise Trump, it's probably not right. Trump waffles, you guys. Trump's a waffler. Like the stream, subscribe. You guys can double tap your screen to like the stream. Helps me a bunch when you guys like the stream. Not that I don't enjoy reading your guys' comments and stuff like that, but it mixes it up. Maybe we're at that like kind of right part of what we're talking about or doing now, that we don't need more likes on the stream. Yeah, it's that kind of place. It's like the bar and Cheers. We don't have to do anything. LOL, because the Democrats don't flip-flop. Yeah, Bernie Sanders, Obama. I do have some street beef with Obama. I got some beef. I would do a chess boxing match with former President Barack Obama. We could do chess boxing match together. Um, my beef with Obama is still that he was elected to end the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he ended up not doing it exactly. Not doing it exactly. Um, Not right away, right? He was like, he said, we need to do a withdrawal, a troop drawdown. We need to solve the problems that are being faced by the U.S. military as well as the Iraqi people and Afghani people themselves. This is what he said right away, and it took him some time to actually go do it. He actually went, okay, $8.5 trillion market cap is excessive. That's what somebody said. Delivering 20 million vehicles and achieving major AI robotics goals like 1 million robo-taxis and humanoid robots within a decade. That's very stupid. Those are stupid goals that don't make any sense to me. Those are goals that would make sense if they made sense to more people, but they sound very stupid. I'm sad Elon Musk is more successful than me as a person because that's the type of petty, jealous person I am. I'm nobody. I have $1 in my bank account. I have $1 in my bank account. I have for some time had $1 in my bank account. You can't even spend, if you're in the US and you have $1 in your bank account, you can't even spend it. So that's like the equivalent of like inflation crises in Russia or debt and credit crises in China. Is in the US, if you have $1 in your bank account, it's like boo-hoo, but there's like nothing at the store that's $1. So I can't get anything that I actually need for the $1 I have. And so I am indignant, petty, mad, jealous that Elon Musk is more successful than a guy like me. How's the bank not taking it? By law, I think they'd have to notify me if they were closing my bank account. Some of y'all know that. As some of you brokies in the US know, they can close your bank account. $1, no way. Yes way, Justin. Yes way, Justin. That's how the world is. Don't be jealous of Elon. No one loves him, not even his kids. Ow, dude. Ow. Owie. Yes, Steve Jobs reportedly had a very tumultuous relationship with his family as well. That was one of the big plot lines of the Steve Jobs movies, the Apple stories. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, it's very weird. I can understand being a father. I can understand how if you run a $1 billion company, um, one of the things you might see or look at is like, well, one of the things you might see and look at is, well, like in very few scenarios should a man or a dad or a mom, a parent, should a parent prioritize work over their kids? In almost no cases. However, if you run a $1 billion company, I could see that there's a consideration that the best way to support your family is to just run the company really well. And this is what I'm going to do. And for some reason, your delicate, nuanced, resilient brain will be more resilient. It'll be more plastic, and we'll have to figure it out. You're going to have to be adaptive and plastic in those like parenting situations, and I'll have to know what that looks like, and that's how I'm going to choose to be a good parent. If I ever owned a business, I have an LLC somewhere. I have an LLC that I haven't dissolved yet, which I probably should do. Um, so not really, nothing with cash flow. um, my consulting business, the best year my consulting business had was like 25 or $35,000. It could have been more. So I'm not totally ignorant to that kind of stuff, but yeah, I'm just trying to sound important and compete with Elon. I haven't been very successful in my life. Um, he had not enough money to retire and be a father. He had yeah. If I would love to, okay, in the past, I thought I would love to own like a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, and retire. Now it's like if I could afford a 1-bedroom condo and retire and not have any responsibility, not have anything I have to do, I would go do that. Kevin, I was a tech employee. I was a tech worker. So I did tech consulting. I'm not technical. So I did basically customer facing stuff. Um, I'm an average to above average salesperson, and I understand technology and stuff like that. That's when I was in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, I was a decent salesperson. So, and yeah, when I left like employment and stuff like that, it was before COVID crisis. Um, Before COVID crisis, and so I got to experience long unemployment, and I also got to experience what it's like to solve that. And so that's been a valuable experience for anyone who's kind of been through financial hardship. I get it a little bit. If you haven't been through financial hardship, tell me what you're doing right, right? Yeah, help me out, pick me up, bro. Just purchase stuff, yeah. And so yeah, so convincing a business that they have some extra money for you or a lot of money to put a strategic problem with you is basically how you sell consulting. I could, maybe I'd talk about it some other time a little bit more, but yeah. And so solving, making, like just basically being a part of the business, being a part of the process. Like there's a lot of employers that will pay you, 5 grand, 7 grand, 3 grand, whatever it is, 10 grand. And then in terms of timing and relationship, if you have the right timing and you have the skills to solve a problem, yeah, there's businesses that will pay 15 or 25 grand for your services. So that's how the US is. You can kind of just put like an apple side by side is, well, if I can make you $100,000 this year, they'll pay, numbers, they'll pay you 7 or 10K to solve it. If you can make them $100,000, they'll pay you 7 or 10K to take a shot on that. Otherwise, they'll just go do something else. And then if you're gonna possibly be addressing a $15 million problem, yeah, they'll pay you 15 or 25,000 to do that. They'll pay you some businesses will pay you like they'll pay you like $100,000. They'll pay you like 100 grand to go do something big. So, but yeah, snake oil, shoe shines, all that kind of stuff. I'll do all that. Hello to my Scottish friend, the black flags and black boots, mate. I don't know any Scottish people, but it's good to see you. I don't think I know any people in Scotland, so it's good to see you. I think billionaires are weirdos. Retire. I wish so. I'd like to be a billionaire. I'd like to try it. I think that would be fun to do for a couple years. It would be, and I know I'm underestimating some things, but it would be fun to be a billionaire, and then allow it to spin off and have one or two things to really focus my time on. That's what I'd want to do. I'd want the arc up, and then I'd want it to just settle into something I understand that I think is good and worthwhile. That's what I'd want to do if I was a billionaire. Have a couple things to be involved in. So yeah, I wish Warren Buffett would visit my Patreon and see something in me. Yeah, and I would wish that. I would wish that I'd wish that Warren Buffett would visit my Patreon and think that I could be a millionaire tomorrow and it would be worth it. It'd be worth it either way for humanity. But who knows? Maybe Berkshire Hathaway will start going and solving stuff in Sudan or Ethiopia or something like this. Heck yeah, I don't see what would be different from billionaire and millionaire. Seems like mental disorder to keep wanting money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who knows? Someone in chat's probably laughing like these brokies, of the 20 people watching, there's one person who's peaked at 780K in their 401k. They've got a FDIC limit savings account or something. No. um, you know, they I would not. So here's when I'd be upset. I'd be upset if I was a millionaire and my decision that I had was to like diversify into real estate. If I had to take asset classes or my time and move into something what I think is as really boring, I would be really upset. I'd be really pissed at myself. I'd be like, why? Maybe there is some small business setting or um, like something like really high impact, like homes that would be worth it, or like a small business portfolio. But I would also be like, well, somebody else is going to go do that. I don't want to be the guy that does that. Screaming IPAs. Yeah. Hops. I've heard they're using a new flavor of hop. Maybe. Oops. I got 5 acres and it's a lot of work and I question if it's worth it. Cool. I would hope that is rewarding. It's rewarding, I would hope. I have absolutely none of your experience and sentiment around property. I have absolutely none of that. I have none of it. So, let's see. Of 112 votes so far, you guys agree Trump waffles goes back to you saying to live in a condo. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's my main sort of so maybe you feel the same way that if I was excited about like maybe 1 or 2 meals that I eat this month, and it wasn't just about the meals that I was able to eat that month, but for this time period, I knew my bills were getting paid. I would be happy with like a 1-bedroom apartment, right? This is obviously irrespective of like thinking about family, friends, lifestyle, sort of future opportunities, none of that stuff that I would consider. But yeah, less responsibility would be huge. Tax, insurance, accessories. Can I join the show? This is not an open panel technical format. Otherwise, I'd invite you up. I like a free link or something like this. Some other time. When I have some more than $1 in my bank account, I'll get like Restream or StreamYard, and we'll do some stuff like that. But yeah. What happened here? I messed something up. I think. Party or none. Yeah, we're partying, Price Casey. We're gonna do a party. I was gonna raid you guys over to my friend's channel. He's live streaming. He's a showman. He's been on the internet for a while. But I don't think I can figure it out tonight. So I'll do it some other time. And yeah, he does have a channel. You can go up and talk, but they only talk about 1 or 2 things. So it's kind of weird to jump up right away. Yeah, on this channel, I'd love to. I think we're all responsible and old enough. We could have some conversations, maybe attract some of the younger audience or something like that or whatever. But who knows? Let's see. I don't think this changes it. Let me see if this works. I just made a change because I've never done that. I turned on subscribers mode. So hello, you guys have to subscribe to my channel to send a message now. There's live commentary, meaning I could mod some of you guys so you guys are the only ones that could comment. That would be kind of funny. Um, what else? What else can I do? Um, Clips? No, this isn't it. Yeah, and so that was the point of the stream. And living in a condo, I'd like to both be able to engage society and at the same time totally get away from everyone for a little while. Yeah, it's like the best of the internet or something. Do you pay for Streamlabs because they've already been kicking people? No, I just have the Streamlabs chatbot set up. I'll probably go look. I like shopping for technology, maybe because I worked in tech. Um, so yeah, if I decide to buy like editing software or something, I'll probably go shop for technology and see what like Streamlabs, Stream Elements. I know they do a lot with Twitch, and so they're probably not based on like YouTube as much as some of the others. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Um, yeah, this kind of bothers me a little bit. It bothers me that this freaking stream that I couldn't set it up better. Um, Maybe it just doesn't work that way. So, okay. Um, I'll tell you what I can do, guys. I'll pin this message up and I'll sit here for just a second. And if any of you guys want to go do obnoxious atheist stuff, I'll post this link here. I'll post this link here, whatever it is. Um, and I'll probably go up on this panel if you guys want to go debate or something. You guys can. This is one of the places you guys can go debate. And yeah, other than that, I don't know. I went live tonight. I figured I would promote the channel to you guys and some other stuff, and here we are. Here we are. Um, yeah, if anybody else has any thoughts, ideas on Trump's waffling, on why he's bringing binders of like immigrant photos and stuff into press conferences, that's kind of the stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. I appreciate everyone who joined and put up with me doing zooming in stuff. Everyone who asked questions, everyone who contributed. Terry, no clear. I don't know what that is. I just live in a van. Oh shoot, some dumb beats lives in a van. How much money can you stack when you don't have to give? Amazing how much money. Oh, when you don't have to give half to a landlord. Yeah, heck yeah. That's what a lot of cash businesses used to do back in the day. To be honest, is people would like some of the old servers I worked with would have like shoebox money. Landlords have mailbox money, and so if you live in a van, good for you. Good for you. That's cool. I think. Good for you. We like to party. We like to party. Party. We like to party. Party. Oh, what's his face? I saw some Hollywood guy. He was yelling at like basically the country and Hollywood and stuff. Was it Ben Stiller? I don't think it was Ben Stiller. Somebody was yelling about like Trump and politics and saying we politicized entertainment. It's definitely true. We definitely politicized entertainment. It used to be the case we just had Weekend Update, and that was sort of the main thing people would do. I don't know what we do now, to be honest, to be truthful. I don't know what we're supposed to think about or talk about. Whoa. What does waffling mean? I don't know. I think it just means to talk about an issue without really saying anything. So an example of waffling would be Trump. Why is this doing this? Zoom out. Zoom out. So an example of waffling would be Trump posturing on policies, but not really outlining to the American people what he intends or the justification for it. It would be sort of like saying, well, Trump's going to be taking your rights away, or Trump's going to be spending your tax money on something that's not sustainable. So, what does this actually accomplish in the president's mind? And then, why in the first place does he believe this is the correct pathway forward, other than the fact that he thinks it is? That's not a justification to say that because you think it's the way forward, it's the way forward. Not when you don't know who I am, who other people are, what their values are, when you don't have a way to measure and report back what you actually do, and when your strategy pushes back against basically the known modes of government, like transparency, accountability, sort of having oversight by Congresses and other regulatory bodies, all that stuff. So I think Trump waffles to avoid those big questions and issues. Trump waffles because he doesn't want to address the big problems and challenges that, yeah, his administration runs into, right? You end up getting in fights with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You end up getting in fights with people like Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham. You get in fights with the Republicans who actually are the people that you kind of want leading when things get bad. And you also get in fights with Democrats who like Republicans or like libertarians, like Rand Paul used to be, who bring up issues that aren't constitutional conservatism, like bring up issues like fringe political beliefs and views that also deserve to get heard in a democracy, and not French stuff too. You also lie to people. The sort of main lie that you ultimately get is that like issues like sustainability don't matter. That's absolute BS. Issues like sustainability and ecological health don't matter. That's absolute BS. So I think Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin. Yeah, same politician saying the same thing all the time, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that generally. I agree with that generally. I think there's people that work hard and actually consider what issues they're going to bring up and how they're going to bring them up. It's sort of weird. I think what a democracy demands is that elected politicians don't believe in people in the democracy, and they don't believe in them so hard that they force people to act like democratic participants, like citizens, like a citizen of a republic. And so when you force people to listen to simple truths, to think both inside and outside the box, to think about the context and circumstance and where we are as a country, those are all reasons that democracies are successful. Bernie Sanders can do that stuff. Other people can't. All right, let's see here. Should I take you guys to work with me when I start my part-time job? We can just sit just like this. It'll be just like this. I'll go live on my lunch breaks or when I'm getting set up for work and stuff. I'm not planning on doing that, but yeah. TDS turned grown adults into malfunctioning smoke alarms, loud, repetitive, and useless. Uniparty. You guys are bringing the good stuff. Bring me some of the top shelf criticisms. The majority of chat yesterday said TDS was about people who are deranged in their belief in the president. So if I read that again, the way chat's going to interpret it, it means that deranged Republicans and non-voters turned into malfunctioning smoke alarms. They became loud, repetitive, and useless, obnoxious bigots, which everyone basically knew that's what happens when you're a xenophobe. That's what happened is, you became a xenophobe. And so that's what happened because of that. That's not true, let me know, but the alternative was like you watch PBS once a year, right? If you're a MAGA voter, you watch Trump, and then you watch PBS once a year, and you say, well, this guy's batshit crazy. This guy has syphilis and does syphilitic rambling, and he has dementia. That's how people think about their votes in the ballot box. Preloaded tantrums. All right. That sounds like it's underneath or above some two-way stuff. Lord Hashmark, come on, man. You guys don't think Trump waffles? How many of you guys are gonna learn? Like Trump doesn't want you watching the NBA and NFL. Trump wants you. This is how far he's backslid. Is he wants you to learn the name of these immigrants that he's deporting. He wants Tom Homan to advertise individual people because Tom Homan himself can't support individuals in the Trump policies. That's how bad this stuff is. Hey, what's up, Nicole M? R8X. Trump eats waffles. Yeah, he's got Chef Rush cooking him waffles, bro. No way. No way. No way. People with TDS think they're awake. Meanwhile, they're sleepwalking through talking points. I think Trump voters wanted to feel like they're deciding the direction of the country, and they're not. They're not. Same stuff Donald Trump's been saying since 1990. So you decided on what this small man wants because he was willing to lie to people. Okay. I feel sorry for grown adults supporting either party. It's embarrassing. Maybe. Yeah. It could be. Whoa. If I was a billionaire, I'd make them care about my viewpoints. I'd probably have one or two. If I was a billionaire, I'd probably want one or two political action committees focused on sustainable issues. I don't know. I'd have to learn about it. I'd have to learn about it for sure. That'd be the main thing. Is trying to see what you can actually accomplish. Why it's not the case that I just can't find the right people and places to care about my what's it called? Care about whatever it is that I'm working on at that time. Whoa. Ew, this is ugly, dude. We like to party. We like to party. You living in your mom's basement. I wish. Yeah, Lord Hashmark. Why? Oh man. All right, I think I found the live redirect. You wish, what a loser. You guys just have a YouTube guilt. You guys got YouTube guilt that I'm not dank. It's a tech job. I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, it's one of those exciting tech jobs, so it'll be fun. It's back what I used to do a long time ago before I stopped working. Yeah. Because I'm a hippie. Because I'm a hippie at heart, to be honest with you guys. Lifter Dave. Uh, I used to lift a bunch. You guys might not believe it. I used to deadlift close to 500 pounds. I could do a 500 pull, 450, 470, bench like 265. And then I wanted to lose all my weight. I wanted to not eat as much anymore. I got sick of it. So gross, dude, to be honest. Tech, sure thing, Game Boy, yeah. Yeah, I have a part-time job playing Pokemon Blue and Red. Yeah, the Trump, Kevin, you don't want to talk about Trump's snow globe, or you don't want to talk about how values split between actions and philosophy and stuff like that. You don't want to talk philosophy. I did a video yesterday. I did a video like 3 hours ago. It was a live stream technically, but the theme of it was the theme of my video or live stream or whatever it was the weight of everything is so heavy. And it was a philosophy idea. It's that when we talk about what things are and like ontology or our epistemology, our metaphysics, when we talk about something like I chose to drive my car. I chose to drive my car to the store. I got in my car and drove to the store like lots of people get in their cars and also they drive to the store. It talks about how these are really heavy issues to sift through. So we don't have to argue MAGA and stuff. We can talk philosophy. We can talk about spirituality. We can talk about, if you want, naturalism. We can talk about Buddhism. We can talk about Taoism. We can talk about American pragmatism. Too much, not much dedication in your life. Yeah. My problem is not enough purpose, Dave. Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk with MAGA morons. Oh, that was Kevin. Kevin just dropped a fart and then left. Indefinite detention bill Obama signed that Trump is using to do what he's doing now. Yeah, I got street beefs with Obama. What bill is this? You guys are telling me about some bill. There's no bill. What bill is this? I don't know what this is. NDAA. Okay. 2012 NDAA. 2012 NDAA. National Defense Authorization Act. The National Defense Authorization Act. Okay, the NDAA, the National Defense, it's a PDF file. It's a federal law, which amongst other things, so Obama did not veto this, he signed it into law. Was this a, it's the 15th consecutive year, which the NDAA was passed and it was signed into law. So it was signed into law by Barack Obama in 2011. So Congress passed it, Barack Obama signed it into law, whatever they passed. It addresses national security programs, including healthcare costs, counterterrorism, military modernization. So artificial intelligence and communication and being able to retrofit and engineer new stuff, as well as making sure the administrative structures and systems are all good. Why do I hate Trump so much? You're using your words to describe me right now. You have hatred, so you can accuse of hatred. Is that true? It's either true or it isn't true, brother. I can tell you I work really hard to not hate anyone. I work really hard to be both responsible, take ownership and be responsible, and to not hate anyone. I don't know if you do the same. So that's my question back to you. Do I hate Trump? Do you guys hate Trump? I don't hate Donald Trump. Trump waffles. Just asking straight up. Just asking straight up. I don't think you are asking straight up. I think you're asking a question you want an answer to. That's not straight up. That's your ego. That's your ego that's later justified because your dad wanted you to be a wrestler or wanted you to take an Eddie Eagle class or some other bullshit. Do you know what I think that is? I think it's actually pussy stuff, so that's the simple way to answer that. Okay, so section 1021. This is what someone wanted me to read. So section 1021, the detention sections of the NDAA began by affirm the authority of the president, the operation of the authorization for use of military force against terrorists, AUMF, a joint resolution passed in immediate aftermath of September 11, 2001 attacks. It includes the power to detain via the armed forces any person, including a U.S. citizen, who was part of a substantially supported Al-Qaeda, Taliban, or occasional force that are engaged in hostilities against the United States or its coalition partners. And anyone who commits a belligerent act against the United States, its coalition, allies, in aid of such enemy forces under the law of war, without trial until the end of hostilities authorized by the AUMF. The text authorizes trial by military tribunal or transfers to the custody or control of the person's country of origin, to transfer to any other foreign country or any other foreign entity. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Addressing previous conflicts within the Obama administration regarding the words of the Senate text, the Senate House Compromise text in subsection 1021D. So basically, you want to extend U.S. police operations around the world to include the ability to detain, interrogate, and ship away people. If I have that correct, so what you want to actually add is you want to add appointedness maybe, and you also want to add the ability to diplomatically reference policing operations against non-state actors. And so that's what you want and what you trade for this under section 1021 of the NDAA of 2012. Basically, what you trade for this is that U.S. jurisprudence, U.S. law has to see even unnaturalized persons as different. So in the US, we typically have a definition of a naturalized person, an unnaturalized person, and then you also have Section 1021 unnaturalized persons. Even if it doesn't define it explicitly, it's basically saying that if you come under the purview of executive actions under nat security objectives, this is where you land, or this is what you end up doing. In Solus, hey, I'm sorry. Bullseye. Yeah. So I think that's a really mean thing to say. Trump is a fraud, a felon, a PDF, a this, that, and the other, and he has dementia. I'm sorry. You can't answer a simple question. That's pussy, bro. Is Dave still here? Is Dave still here? Dave's a femme fatale. Dave wanted to ask me about something. I don't know what his question was. I didn't know what he was even asking. I can't sort a question for you. I don't know exactly why I would. Sick, dude. Welcome to YouTube Live. Let me show you how badass I am, man. Bamf. Bamf, bro. This law is being used against us right now. Yeah. I think Trump is I think it's kind of funny. This is like, if you're like the Joker and you're a US citizen, this is kind of funny. You know Joker from Batman? I posted a Substack article today about how Trump is like, can be seen as a moral actor in the negative space of politics, meaning that like if you have the negative space is where you didn't color something in. And so if you view Trump as a enlightened, angry, rich hippie, which I'm not sure he is, but if you view him as an enlightened, rich, angry hippie, Donald Trump is moral because he will eventually, like a rat terrier or something, he'll eventually dig up all the mistakes you made on his road to Damascus, on his road to wherever he's going. And he'll eventually make those part of policy. No one talks about it. You can't talk about it. It's boring. It's not exciting. But he waffles. Boy, does he waffle. This is why he waffles, is because he gets a lot of this stuff right eventually. But it's not moral because making fun of how the US government works, being a troll, isn't actually in the US interest. And it's not trolling, it's murder, it's murderous, and it's reckless, it's infantilistic, it's juvenile, and it's not only worthy of scolding, but it's worthy of asking how Trump considers these levers in light of other ones. I wish we could talk about it, but we can't. Yeah, Trump is a turncoat piece of shit. Yeah. Sure. Turncoat motherfucker. You fucking turncoat motherfucker. Trump's a turncoat motherfucker. Hell yeah. Bobby Schmurda. Yeah, we got the Pharma Bros in the chat. Why can't we talk about it, man? Can we talk about it? We can't talk about it, man. Necessity is the mother. Necessity is a plea for every infringement of human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants. It is the creed of the slaves. William Pitt the Younger. All right, brothers and sisters and people and folks. I want Trump to have the 130 IQ conversation with the press. You know what? Even if it's for 1 second of that day, I want Trump to have the 130 IQ with the conversation with the press. I don't want coded language. I want the straight up, no bullshit. Talk to me like I'm an adult kind of sense of things. That's it. All right, see ya. Thank you. Yeah, I'll live stream here until I get caught and get fired. No, I'm just kidding. My job's gonna definitely take priority over this because I told you guys why. That's why I was just thinking out loud about that, is that I told you guys that if I have to look at like buying groceries and I look at you guys, and I wonder, not you guys, like if but if I ask who's gonna give me money at some point in time, I could have 2,000 or 10,000 subscribers and it's not gonna cut it. So my job is 100% taking priority over streaming, but whatever. 142, you guys weighed in on Trump waffling. So thank you guys. Free Sudan. Yeah, Sudan's a real big mess right now. Anna JG may know this. Um, it's sort of weird when you look at a lot of it's a commonality when you look at like sort of the Sahel and sort of central sort of African conflicts and shit like that, whatever it is, wherever it is, um, or East African. You look at like the Arab African nations, you get these conflicts where there's tribal ideas. There's usually questions about control or structure of government. There's something related to that, and then you also have foreign influences. Yeah, the most recent sort of trend that people have talked about since maybe like the 2000s or 2010s is like network structures popping up. So you start getting more people in industry, in areas like banks or political lobbies, politicians, more influential communities, like not civil society, but um, you start getting these crossover ties to other industries, or you just have like foreign influence, right? You have one or the other. And so Sudan's really messed up right now. The respectful and serious way you're discussing the topic. Thank you. I don't know if that's sarcasm or truthful. But okay, cool. Appreciate it. Yeah. It used to be the case, a lot of like non-state groups operating, maybe not in Sudan, but in the Congo, used to be able to go online on like academic databases, and some of them had like visualizers. They had like their network database, basically like a graph database of how some of these organizations work set up online. That was very cool to see. You'd see it once and it kind of changed your view of stuff if you could understand why it mattered. Yeah, cool. Yeah, my main opinion or view is I generally like oh, thank you. Yeah, we disagree probably. We probably disagree about a lot of stuff. I don't like if you're familiar with like Edward Said's Orientalism or like intersectional issues, I believe that these are just international politics. I believe there's just plain simple um, game theoretic reasons that states should actually solve for like weak state issues. When we look at like Africa, and there's weak security complexes between African states, African Union sort of works. It's sort of bunk. Um, I think you just look at the issue and you say, yeah, well, this is a we don't have weak states projecting power in any way that balances the system is one way to explain it. And so, yeah, you're suffering, but let me also contextualize that suffering in something that drives state ontologies to act and solve something. So, um, I don't know if it's like the I don't yeah. So that's my opinion. But yeah, I have a petition. The Uniparty is going to eat us all. Yeah, probably. I have a petition up on change.org right now. That is one signature. Um, and my main goal for the US, I want to be able to talk to. So I want to talk to Senator Jim Risch, who's the chair of the Senate Select Committee on Foreign Affairs. And then I want to talk to Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and President Trump. And it's to do two things. It's to do both. It's to clear up time to clarify the US's position and how the international community ought to collaborate in places like Sudan. And the other is to allow direct action by individuals irrespective of nationality. So anyone anywhere in the world can go be a do-gooder, and the UN somehow facilitates the other types of change, or the African Union does. So that's my petition I'm working on. And yeah, that's how, when I worked in tech, you would just start doing something and then you would just do it until it didn't work anymore. So that's how I did that. And then into the future, what do you say? Yeah. Into the future, what you do is, I think on social media, there's more room to just get like-minded people to work on stuff and happily be a little bit dead in the eyes about it. That's kind of my main thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, so that's what I want to do in the future, is influence US politics in a way that right now preserves the political reality of um, the world, and does not recontextualize or decontextualize Donald Trump's. So this is Donald Trump's vision for America. So this is refreshing. So if Donald Trump has been planning his policies for the presidency since maybe the middle of Biden's terms. He began posturing right after Biden's terms. So perhaps the excitement on the world stage of Gaza-Palestine October 5th war, and mounting pressure in the media about Ukraine conflicts, misinformation or lack of information about economies, all sort of cauterized Trump's solidification of his decisions as the chief executive in the US. And so I think we can solve problems in Sudan without lying about it. The reality is there are millions of US citizens whose rights are being violated today. There's a good case for it. There's probably tens of thousands of court cases that could, and in a democracy reasonably should happen. That doesn't change what's happening around the world. It also doesn't really impact any of our trade partners. It's not really clear. There's this bubble of like political class that's non-economically participating right now. And so, okay, you're not going to address that issue, Mr. President. And I respect that. I just like clarity on this international shit. We have to add a new section to the Constitution about ethics and human rights. Yeah. Yeah, do so responsibly. That's very fascinating, Yeah, I think stripping the Constitution of the Lockean references leads to an appreciation of the United States as an individualistic, competitive place. It's just individuals, and there's an appreciation that places like Philadelphia and New York City will ultimately continue to be public forums and very important like cities and stuff like this. So there's no way to interpret the Constitution otherwise. Yeah. And so, yeah. So if we look outside of the Constitution a little bit, not into the Constitution, but we look outside of it a little bit, we have to be able to reconcile that it really makes no sense that society doesn't mention spaces like spaces used for factory farms, spaces used for energy production, and you ultimately just have spaces emerge that are incredibly toxic and racist and inefficient and wasteful. These are the same things that, from Trump's perspective, didn't bring price signaling into markets. They didn't set him up to be an effective manager of the economy, and basically tell people that you should run around like a wild chimpanzee while he's in office. That's how I would say that honestly, which is hopefully helpful to our president at some point in time. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. None of that is in context or makes any sense at all. So, um, and that's just like a statement of reality. So, but yeah, here's what would be helpful for you guys. What would be helpful for you guys is uh, okay, so like Donald Trump or Elon Musk decides they want to actually make a difference in the world about something. That's what they choose to make a difference is and so the person you guys would ultimately vote for, I think cool, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. Is this the gay chat? Yeah, sure. Can be. Yeah, y'all you guys got outside a little bit. You guys got outside of what I was talking about with someone, so sorry. I didn't mean to be rude to you, but yeah, and so from my perspective, Trump's real focus or policy objectives, um, if I was gonna like ask why his advisors didn't suggest something, maybe the only useful thing I could say to anyone in our government, um, I would probably say like, well, you haven't even acknowledged, Mr. President, that Americans can be right about the enormous burdensome cost, and you know that if there's a construction project delayed in Trump Tower, and you understand why it matters, you're building something, and that there's a delay, or you lose a media spot that someone had previously committed to that media spot. Um, you suck, right? That sucks. I would imagine you don't want that. And so why can't American citizens be concerned at least a little bit about some or many of the costs of, these ICE initiatives taken more narrowly? It seems like that conversation does live next to conversations about international justice. I think that's highly reasonable. Highly reasonable. Yeah. Hey, I can show you this. Bartholomew. I was gonna ban you. Do you want to get banned? Yeah. There you go. Adios. Thank you. Were we working for a second there, guys? Here. I'll unhide you. I don't know if you left the stream, but I'll unhide you. Were we working for a second? I was working through something, so sorry. Instead of content. Yeah, that's right. Intelligence trumps everything. Intelligence trumps everything, you guys. History classes are also very informative and used minimal emotional language to describe the difficult things in our nation's history. So your currency, so Anna, your currency in this case, your currency was a little bit of objectivity, at least maybe understanding how to look at a couple pieces together. And so person, we don't have this sort of infinite subjectivity, but if you can hold a couple pieces together, you get those. Do you think that intelligence is a virtue? There's no such thing as virtue ethics. There's natural groupings of things, and there's ways of interpreting those groupings as part of a process or a change. So there's rationality and irrationality, in my view. And then you can just abscond. You can also always choose the third option, which is paraconsistent, is you can always say, I don't want to engage that question right now. I want to be part of the Statue of Liberty when I grow up. Cool. Heck yeah, dude. Cancel culture. Hey, Jose, are you okay? You okay, mate? Let's all together be a little bit kind to each other. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's okay. I want to make a vegan sandwich pretty soon. I want to eat. And you guys, when you're working, do you guys eat? If you're working or figuring something out, do you guys eat or do you not eat? How do you guys, what's the best way that you guys, are you guys able to consider that type of question? Eat more meat, bro. Are you guys billionaires or are you guys not? I have $1 in my bank account actually. Chewing gum. Okay. Chewing gum, yeah. If it's healthy, sugar-free gum, do you guys think that's funny? Sugary caffeinated drink. Yeah, I do like caffeine. Things that either open or restrict your blood vessels can be okay too. Basically carte blanche for that kind of stuff, truthfully. I have $1 in my bank account. Yeah, I got $1,000, but 150K debt. Oh, cool. Are you a doctor? Something cool? I don't mean to pry. You don't have to answer, actually. That's cool. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. So, yeah, there's not really in the U.S. You have a master's, cool, a degree in clinical mental health counseling, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, nice. Maybe you can open a telehealth practice or something. Who knows? Yeah, having $1,000 isn't real money in terms of being in the U.S. But it's also it isn't it's not, what do you call it? It's not nothing. It's not nothing. It's not bad, but it's not bad. It's also not nothing. So Lifter, the Brits take all of our money. It's just completely baseless. Yeah, I wish Ronan. I wish you had people correct you about those types of statements. Your language use. I just don't understand it, truthfully. So it's based. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand that. That's cool. Cool. Yeah. British IPAs are really good. I like what's his name? Have you guys seen Adam from Beard Meats Food, Man Eats Food, or whatever it is? He's a competitive eater. Those are dangerous videos to watch. 1,000 has to last 2 weeks. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I can see being poor in Afghanistan, America. One of the things that I failed at in business is I worked at this company and I hired a guy in Pakistan to do some like lead work for us. It was like general lead stuff, but and so the right way to and what he was doing is basically the right way to get like contact data. And then he would make a list of the actual right businesses sort of within and from that, right? Kind of, so like, yeah, kind of both or whatever. And, and so, yeah, and whatever. And so this guy, and so he would, but I didn't get to know him ever, right? We ended up hiring him to do more, and he brought a bit of a team in. But I was like, yeah, we're not paying you a ton of money. I know it's probably okay for Pakistan, but you're working with other people and stuff. We didn't try and rip him off for sure. He named his price and stuff like that, and we were like, cool. We were like, cool to that question, whatever. So you're in it now, motherfucker. So not like, but he was part of our team. He was an extension of our team. But I never really got to know what it's like working as a digital nomad, what it's like working digitally from Pakistan, right? I didn't know, where are you from, right? Are you in Islamabad or something? I wouldn't know. Do you have a college degree? Do people on your team have college degrees? Like, what does that ultimately go do if you guys have extra cash from, or some cash or predictable cash from US consulting work? What does that do for you? Like, what's good for you there, right? Like, what's good for you and why is it good for you? Other, like, in terms that I wouldn't understand or that I would, that kind of stuff. It's not very efficient to move humans' individual vehicles. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. Humans probably had periods of time. From my perspective, if I look at identity formation relative to evolutionary psychology, and this is very stupid, but ow. It's a little bit. I've got Franz de Waal here, Bonobo and the Atheist. Like, so here's one interesting framing: is humans probably had periods of time where our social machinery was probably something like maximally efficient, or it would have been coherent to ask what maximally efficient social machinery would be in the context of human life. And it's the case where it's like, well, when you start assessing decision making and how you navigate an ecology and how that sort of that function and shared knowledge evolves over time, like there had to have been a period of time where that became hyper socialized, or there's a bias for social machinery that also impacted like sort of fairly base amygdalic and like you know and it's crazy to think that, well, like we don't often think that, our spatial and communication awareness centers in our brain, we don't often think that kind of stuff in our terms of our identity and stuff, right? Our identities, like intersectionalness a little bit I'll put to the side, but that there may be specific like plasticity or universal sort of recognition of like, yeah, even if you're a psychopath on death row, for that's what society calls you and where you are. If you're a psychopath on death row, you still know that a chicken sandwich tastes good, or there's a different consideration for someone eating a spinach salad. Like Jeff Dahmer was a vegan. Jeff was a vegan. One of the most brutal, racially motivated, hateful, homosexual serial killers in human history. Um, he was a vegetarian. Um, he lived his own life and stuff like that. So, but it is interesting in terms of like when you think about plasticity and how our brain shapes and develops over time and what it actually produces. Um, I just have to think that there's more of like, there's that Western definition of something being maximally or analytically necessarily some way, or necessarily some way for some reason. And there's no way to describe our brain state other than this. And then there's also, I think, what's a more intuitive or primitive notion of sort of those same things where you just like it does actually sort of make sense to say, whether you say we don't have human stomachs capable of eating in multiple climates, or you say we don't have humans capable of being that way as a group. Those are both also really sensible ways to say the same thing, if that makes sense. And yeah, and I'm very stupid, so this stuff takes me a long time to sort of think through. But human brain is electric meat. It does incredible things. Yeah, it does really bad things too. So I shaved the mashed potatoes out of it. That sounds so good right now. Buttery mashed potatoes, dude. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. Yeah. Um, yeah. I always want to eat a little carbs when I get sort of ready to ready to turn the lights off. I want carbohydrates, and then I wake up, or if I have beans or other protein stuff, then I want to go to sleep, and or I wake up again. Anytime I eat, I actually wake up. Very weird, very strange. Maybe it's because like I'm slightly neurodivergent, but I'm probably also like a predator. I don't know how that works, you know. Either that's like who my personality is, and I'm not trying to psychoanalyze or suggest you do that, but I'm either a predator, or alternatively, if I'm not a predator, I have these like plastic sort of adaptations, surviving society and being having been economically successful, gone through social processes and rituals and stuff like that. So I have these predatory adaptations despite not really understanding any social context or really caring about it at all. Not really caring about it. Really just sort of truthfully trusting more that society is like what I think it is, and that you guys will tell me if I miss something or I'm supposed to know something or supposed to talk or obviously didn't do something. Not that you guys are my keeper, but it's just naturally going to be the case that we know each other different ways. So that's kind of neurodivergent, kind of more of a predator, I think. What do you think created your mind? I don't believe in mind, to be honest. So if there was, yeah, I don't believe there's an answer or coherent question to ask what evolutionary created minds. That's why some people believe in God. I've got one of my friends online, Cafe. His name's Cafe. If you, but he partially, one of the reasons he believes in gods is because he does believe in minds. And so he says, well, if you see that a mind exists, because you can't, I mean, one argument is because you don't see that nature created this mind, or you don't see an explanation where you would look. You can say, well, then it should be a god or the gods created this mind. I don't believe that argument. I just believe you're making stuff up. Steven Slingshotter. Hunting. Hunting? Okay. Believe in Beelzebub. Ghost Samurai and Chihulu. How do you think without a mind? With neurons. Do your neurons? I can turn this around. I'll turn this around for you. Do your neurons have a brain? Yeah, I'm atheist. Yeah, I choose to be. I would take a position. I would choose to be atheist about issues regarding a supernatural entity. I would choose to be an atheist regarding those issues. And if it makes sense, if you offer, I think what I would think of as ideological religious positions about politics and society, I would also choose to be an atheist about those things. Neurons are a part of the brain. Why? No, they're not. They're neurons. Neurons have nothing to do with the brain other than the fact you put them there. A brain is a label for a clump of matter. So if you don't have a brain, how can you have thoughts? When do you need this overarching organ known as the brain, right? The most complex object in nature to justify a thought. And why would that be? LSD and neurons go wild, making all of them fire at the same time. Yeah, shout out to my other fellow obnoxious atheists in chat. We're doing our best to kind of hang out. We're doing our best to talk to chat right now. Really slam my head into it. We're doing our best to hang out to all my other obnoxious atheists. Yes, the brain named itself. That's as good a statement as any. That's as good a statement as any. But that doesn't make any sense either. My brain turns on, letting me see infrared light emitted by camera. Hold on. Calm down there, boys. Calm down there right now. All right. Shoot. The metaphysical precedes the physical. That sounds like Buddhism. Mind precedes any thought. Mind precedes all. Mind precedes all that could be said to be something. Is that true? I don't know. I forgot exactly what the Buddha said. So how are you guys? Wow. Yeah, how are you guys even navigating those circumstances you guys have in front of you? And so one thing I'll ask here, one thing I want to know is, we see stories about biology and philosophy and morality in chat that are really hard, and we see some that seem informational. If that's not a challenge for you, what do we prioritize? What should I prioritize in that case? What do I do? What do I do? Okay. Oh, you do? I read the Constitution on my channel. Let me see if I can see you. Oh, whoops. Here. There you go. I'll add you as a moderator. Anna JG. I'll go check out your channel. Do your bricks have a house? What if they are all part of a walkway? Are all false equivalencies equal? Do your bricks have a house? What if they're all part of a walkway? Yeah, but I don't think if you reference a house, I don't think that requires the same level of epistemic justification as brain and something being the producing thought and belief. It's not that it doesn't have to, but it seems like it comes after. It's caused horizontally, or it's caused on the same level as someone who thinks about dwelling somewhere. If you think about dwelling somewhere, you therefore build a house, and so houses exist as a category of things. And so to me, that's different, because we haven't solved if causation of thoughts is vertical or not, or if it's horizontal, if it's just the case that you can say A causes B, or A and B actually supervenes on some other, it's supervening in some way. And even though the ontologies are fairly distinct in terms of knowledge or something, we still see there is like a causal relationship, and that's basically the relationship. That's like saying God created the universe. So bricks don't create a house. And my point was that my magical point was that brains don't create neurons don't create your brain. It's not actually clear how the two relate to each other. Someone has like a theory of that, I'm sure, but why? Why exactly is that? Why? If my heart depends on cells all across my body, and the best way to describe a heart exists in some way, then is my heart my full body? Probably not. Ghost Samurai, rent me a room for like $50 a month or something. Rent me a room. We can share a studio and make content together. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to dox you or anything, but nice analytical. So what creates your thoughts? I don't know. Your thoughts create your thoughts, or brains and neurons, or God. You're part of God. You're a smaller part of God. Those are all acceptable answers. Did you have an answer for that question before you came on the stream, or I mean, we don't honestly even have to talk about it, but if you wanted to, that's kind of interesting. What creates your thoughts? But it's cool. It's cool either way, guys. Yeah, man. When I was in college, I would always find homework and stuff interesting before I got like my coffee and stuff, and then I would do coffee and I would instantly focus back on like this was my college experience. Once I got my like a coffee, like a mocha, or I got like a biscuit or something, I would go back to just filling out like the coursework, like the PDF stuff like that. Hey, g'day. Renelium. That's a cool name too. I'm sorry. There seems to be a bunch of recurring themes, all religions all over the world, spirits do. Not sure what degree I believe detect them. I think it's for me it's part of like part of like primitive religions and stuff like that. For me, it's part of like primitive religions a little bit. Primitive religion and our irrationality, like that's obviously a little too definitive, but Yeah, and I went to a state school. I went to a large state school in the United States. Um, yeah, I went to ASU. I did honors college and all kinds of really cool stuff. So I was part of the honors college. I studied a bunch. I worked while I went to school and then didn't do anything else with it. But I learned a lot. College was a great experience. Trump likes a waffle with peanut butter and banana. He's Elvis with cirrhosis of the liver. Oh, I don't know what that is. University of UIUC. I don't know what that is. You don't have to. Yeah, I have family from the Midwest as well, so I kind of know. I don't know a lot of schools. I had a Yeah, I had a bunch of friends from high school and college that went to school not in my home state, not in Arizona, not in Phoenix. They didn't stay there. Yeah. But hopefully you enjoyed your degree. I think time in college is so special. And there's so many good professors and stuff out there too. Yeah, that's all true stuff. That's all true. Um, all right. Cool. Thank you everyone who's liked this stream. That's always hugely cool to see, to see almost 40 likes, to see 39 likes is super cool. That's 39 of you guys that voted for the stream to be successful, maybe said hi in chat. Yeah, thanks Anna for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the wrench. I'll check out your channel too if I remember. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So I think as long as people are like interested in philosophy, that's it's always like interesting and stuff like that. To kind of talk and hang out and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, and that's it. Cool. I'm just some asshole too. So cool. I don't know if you know Anna from Frozen. Anna, do you want to build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. I'm out the door. It's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies, but now we're not. I wish you could tell me why. Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. Okay, bye. All right. Thank you guys for seeing. I'll catch you guys later. Yeah, like and subscribe if you guys want to catch another stream or don't. Anna, I modded you. I don't even know if you're a sub. I saw you first time on my yeah, I saw you whatever. I saw you for the first time here, so if you don't want the wrench or whatever, that's cool. And yeah, cool. And I will catch all of you guys later. All right, take care. Bye.